They were born evil. At least, that's the story we tell ourselves, because it's easier that way. It's easier to believe that darkness comes prepackaged, sealed inside certain people from the moment they take their first breath. Marked, different, other. It lets us draw a line, a clean one, between us and them. But that line isn't as real as we think. A child is born. No hatred, no cruelty, no desire to harm. Just a brain, unfinished, wiring itself through experience. Every sound, every touch, every silence becomes part of the blueprint. And yet, somewhere along the way, some individuals begin to diverge. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gradually, quietly. We like to imagine a moment, a snap, a single turning point where someone becomes evil. But human behavior doesn't work like that. There is no switch. There is only accumulation, layer after layer of influence, biology, environment, experience, interpretation. Some are born with differences, variations in how they process fear, empathy, and reward, a muted emotional response, a reduced sensitivity to consequence. Not evil, just different starting conditions. But a difference alone doesn't decide a destiny. It only shifts the probability. Now add environment, a home where anger is language, where affection is absent, where pain is routine. The brain adapts because it has to. What we call normal is just what the mind learns to expect, and what it expects, it stops questioning. A child who learns that control prevents pain may grow into someone who needs control at all costs. A child who learns that vulnerability invites harm may grow into someone who destroys before they can be hurt, not because they're evil, but because, to them, it makes sense. This is the part we don't like, because it blurs responsibility, and we're uncomfortable with gray areas. We want clear villains, clear monsters, people who are fundamentally different from us. But the truth is more unsettling. The same mechanisms that build kindness can also build cruelty. Empathy isn't guaranteed. It's developed, reinforced, modeled. If it's never taught, or worse, punished, it doesn't grow. And without empathy, other people stop being people. They become objects, obstacles, tools. At that point, harm becomes easier. Not enjoyable, necessarily. Just permissible. There's another layer. Choice. Because even within the same conditions, not everyone takes the same path. Some resist. Some adapt differently. Some break without breaking others. So where does that leave us? If people aren't born evil, but not entirely shaped either, then what are we looking at? We're looking at intent, and intent is built, constructed through perception, through belief, through the internal logic each person develops to survive their world. Every extreme action, no matter how incomprehensible it seems from the outside, makes sense to the person committing it, morally, but psychologically. There is always a justification, a reason, a narrative. I had no choice. They deserved it. This is the only way. These aren't excuses. They're windows into how intent forms, because no one wakes up one day and decides to become a monster. They become someone for whom monstrous actions feel justified. And that's the real danger. Not that evil people are born, but that ordinary minds can construct extraordinary justifications, given the right conditions, given enough reinforcement, given enough time. So when we say they were born evil, what we're really saying is we don't want to look deeper, because if we do, we might find something uncomfortable, that the distance between us and them isn't fixed, it's fragile. Understanding this doesn't remove accountability, it doesn't excuse harm, but it does something more important. It gives us clarity, because if we believe evil is something people are born with, we stop looking for it in the systems that create it. We stop questioning the environments that nurture it. We stop recognizing the patterns that lead to it. So maybe the better question isn't, were they born evil? But instead, what built the path that led them there? Because intent is never random. It leaves traces, patterns, clues, and if we learn to see them, we don't just understand behavior, we understand how to interrupt it. Not everyone is born the same, but no one is born a monster. They are made piece by piece, choice by choice, moment by moment. And that means it can happen again.